This podcast is sponsored by Pogo, Property Operations on the Go. Facility managers know how challenging it can be to keep everything running smoothly. That's why Pogo was created, a white-labeled software solution designed by property managers for property managers. Pogo is your ultimate all-in-one platform for managing multiple assets. With Pogo, you communicate with your tenants, manage maintenance requests, control property access, manage bookable spaces, and much more. Plus, with advanced analytics, Pogo empowers you to optimize your operations anytime, anywhere. The best part? Pogo is completely customizable to fit your brand and business. Simplify your operations, enhance tenant satisfaction, and save money with Pogo. Ready to make the switch? Visit gopogo.us to schedule your demo today. Pogo, one system, multiple solutions at your fingertips. Mark Befford here, bringing you another episode of Real Opportunity, bringing discussions with those in the commercial real estate business. And here we have Kara Lewallen today. Glad to have you, Kara.
Well, thank you.
I'm really excited for this because, as we were just discussing before we got on air here, that there are not that many females in the commercial real estate industry. And you have really started. You started your career off with a bang, and you're doing really well. I want to kind of get to know you a little bit because we don't know each other a little bit. You're really good friends with Megan Gelmers, who works with our development team here at Robinson Park, and she speaks very highly of you. So I'm excited to see some things you're working on. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
How about I start out from kind of the beginning and how Megan and I got connected?
I love that.
So Megan and I grew up in Tulsa together. So we're both Tulsa girls.
You're Tulsa.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. And I went to Texas Christian University. I was in business school there. And the reason why I made it to Oklahoma City is I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and was surrounded by a bunch of Texas people with all their families, and everyone's like, hey, you should stay in Texas. A lot of my friends were actually in Austin, and so I was excited to stay in Texas. I took an aptitude test at the business school, and real estate at TCU,
okay.
Yeah, and real estate development was at the very top. And my grandfather was head of city planning at OU for 40 years, and so he had a lot of connections here. My mom's from Norman, and my mom kind of started thinking about everything. She called my granddad and she was like, hey, Kara, I was a junior at the time, maybe actually a sophomore at the time. We're just trying to figure it out. And my granddad said, hey, I just had a conversation with Richard McCown, and he is currently working on Level Apartments. And he's going to give you a call.
Wow.
Because he's, needs some help. And, I was in Fort Worth, Texas, I was in a sorority. And Richard and I talked for 2 hours on the phone. I was in the bedroom of the house I was renting, and I remember being on there for 2 hours, which doesn't surprise anyone with Richard. He loves to talk. And ultimately, between my junior and senior year, I spent the summer with Richard. And I moved in with my granddad and my dog, and I lived in Norman. And I basically punched apartments with Richard at Level Apartments for 2 months, and learned a lot about the business.
Wow.
And basically just spent the summer with him. And I kind of just thought, like, well, that was fun and cool. And then I went back to college, and I didn't really know if that was ultimately what I wanted to do. And this is when you kind of come involved. When I was in the process of trying to figure out, do I want to come back and work with Richard? I was looking into real estate brokerage, and I just didn't know, there's so many areas of real estate.
Right.
And I got your contact. You might not remember this. I was graduating, and I remember, I don't know which office you were in, but I remember driving in from Texas and coming to meet with you and just trying to gauge, like, how is the real estate market in Oklahoma City?
We were on Northwest Expressway in the Reliance Tower.
Yes, that's what it was. And I remember you walked in and you had some red shoes on, and I was so nervous. And I remember sitting down with you, and you were so kind and easy to talk to.
That.
And I think you were maybe going through a hard time at the point, and you just like, just the way you talked to me, it was
I
like
appreciate that.
anyone else said, because a lot of men, I had some other conversations with other brokers in town, and they just kind of pushed me off, and they're like, oh yeah, you're at TCU and business school, like, you'll figure it out. And you were just, I don't
Well, I
know.
appreciate
So
that.
I wanted to say that
Yeah.
because, and it meant a lot at the time. And I'm 36 now, and I was 23
Wow. That's
whenever I
13
first
years ago.
met
Wow.
you.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah,
so
I do remember. So just FYI, and so I want to take a step back. And Richard, do you realize the what he did for you during that senior to junior year? Because getting that experience from somebody like, I mean, Rich is a thought-provoking guy, and everything he does is intentional, which means that
yes.
ultimately it ends up being right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in our business just want to do. They
Mm-hmm.
don't want to really think through intentional. So you've really, I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah,
I never knew that story.
you actually really characterized Richard very
Yeah.
well. And he has put so much time into me that I would not be anywhere without him.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I wouldn't be in Oklahoma City without him.
Mhm.
And I remind my husband of that all the time, that like Richard's the reason why I'm here. And speaking of that, I am married. My husband's Baxter Lewallan, and I have 3 kids.
Three
All
kids?
3 kids under
Whoa,
the
whoa,
age
whoa,
of 4.
So you have 3 kids under the age of 4.
Yes.
So which means one of them's under the age of 1.
Yeah, so I have a 6-month-old. His name's Virgil. And then I have a 20-month-old. Her name's Ophelia. And then I have a 4.5-year-old. Her name is Pearl. So I
How
have
do you
been
do it?
very busy the past few years.
How do you have a full career and have 3 kids at home?
It's something that I honestly, I wish more people would talk about.
Mhm.
Being a millennial woman, I hate saying that out loud,
Yeah.
but I read this book called At Your Best by Carrie Newworth. And actually, Richard recommended it to me. It was when I was postpartum with Ophelia. And he talked about your day and how you have 24 hours in the day. And everyone has 24 hours in the day. The president does, you do, and we all have to figure out how to create efficiency with your day.
Mhm.
And when I read that book, and it kind of goes through, how you can create efficiency with your life, I was like, okay, I can do this. But I have definitely had moments of, how are we going to how are Baxter and I
Yeah.
going to manage these 3 kids, both of our careers?
Right.
And
Because Baxter is an attorney, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Baxter's an attorney.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where we're at right now, is like, obviously I just
Yeah.
had my 3rd kid, and I'm finally out of that phase, but it's a big part of us of trying to just
Yeah.
do it. There's no right way to do it, but do it in a way that like your marriage is good, your kids are good, and you
Your
can
career's
also
good,
have
yeah.
a career.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of help and a lot of resources.
So that's a true definition of work-life balance.
Yes.
And I'm actually just coming to the realization that it's hard to be in that situation and have that. I've been fortunate. I never had to deal with that. I was always able just to go to work.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I think that's what's different about, I'm just going to call it the millennial generation, is that, there's expectations for the men and the women now. It's not just, and everyone's different,
Right.
and I respect all of my peers that are full-time moms.
Mhm.
I would be hard to be a full-time mom, like I've put so much into my career starting from 23 to now that it just didn't feel right to push all that away. And I want to try and figure out how to balance all of it.
And you still every day's probably a new day.
I'm trying to figure it out every day, and that's okay. But it is a part of me. And, I have business partners, Cooper Scott, and obviously Richard, who I just mentioned, who also have been very supportive of me wanting to have a family and figure this out. And I don't think that I would be where I am today, as you were saying earlier, without them, and them being cheerleaders, and them being understanding, and them being on the other side of me having to take maternity leave. And I know this is stuff that we probably weren't planning on talking about, but
no, this is exactly, I want people to get to know who you are, because you're one of the future leaders within the commercial real estate industry, just like I think Megan is. And we need more female leaders, and we as society sometimes aren't as accepting of those demands and allowing the flexibility to happen. I do think that society now is getting a little more comfortable with that and having that work-life balance and stuff like that. But I'm from the older generation. I'm 63 years old, and this is the new age I'm trying to get used to. But I applaud you for that, and I want to support this because, again, you guys are the leaders of our city going forward.
Well, I really appreciate that. It's I kind of wish there was someone in front of me that's figured it out, but there isn't.
I'm not sure what Richard's thought of this is, but you ought to spend some time with Judy Hatfield.
So Judy is the one that gave me your contact information.
Oh, did she really? Yeah.
Yes, way back. But you know what? I have not connected with her in years.
You need to do that because
I need to do that.
Because
yes.
Judy is, she is probably one of the primary females that have been very successful, and she's done brokerage and she's done development and she's been through the good and the bad times, and I think she has been through, she has kids, and you ought to reach back out to her.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm going to reach out to her. I'm kind of glad, like seeing your face again from 13 years ago.
Yeah.
I need to do that. Yes.
Okay, so let's get into the real estate world.
Yes.
What do you like about it? Why do you like the real estate world?
Well, I think where I'm 13 years into this, which is relatively new.
It is.
I mean, a lot of people
compared
have been
to me, an old guy like me, I'm 30 years into it.
And what I have learned is that it's very cyclical, and there are years that I'm like, feel like I've figured it out, and then there's other years where I'm like, I definitely have not figured this out. And I feel like the more I am in the multifamily world, because I'm focused on multifamily right now, at least, and I can talk about how I got there.
Can I stop right there real quick? Give a little spoiler alert. I've been in it 40 years. I'm 63, and there are still days I don't know that I figured it out.
I just need to get with it.
That's right. You just need to take each day and you just plug through it and
it's
continue
like, you feel like you have a deal done, and then you don't have a deal done.
Gosh, no.
And then something comes up and you're like, oh, okay. And so I've been working on a deal for 10 years that now has not happened 3 times. The most recently it fell through, and I have had to, because I've gotten emotional about it, because it's kind of like the first big deal that I tried to put together and made it work. And I just have this, which you're not supposed to, but I've had to take a step back and be like, Kara, this is business. This is not emotional. This is business. And I'm like, maybe 5 years from now it will come back. But so I feel like I'm learning about failing forward.
Oh, I've not heard that before. And that's awesome.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And what I'm learning about real estate development is it's the long game.
Yeah.
And I've been told that, but like I'm actually currently living through the fact that it's the long game. And it takes working not just in real estate development in order to actually make any money in this world. And so maybe that's too transparent, but that's what I am learning is that, and I can't remember your question about real estate, but I can talk about how I got into it quickly with Richard. If that would be helpful.
No, 100%. 100%. That's what this is about. I just kind of I want to understand you.
Okay. Yeah. So I moved here, started working with him as an apprentice after I graduated.
Yeah.
And we were finishing level. And he had a few other projects kind of in the horizon that I kind of came on as he was working on them. One of them was Mosaic Apartments. The other one was the Rock Island Plow Building.
That's right.
Mosaic
You guys did that,
Mosaic Apartments is the sister apartment project to Level. And then the Rock Island Plow Building is in the Bricktown, and it's a redevelopment building. It's completely different than our apartment project. And I learned a little bit about tax credits. And then we switched gears and did a parking garage, and then also did a shipping container project. And so we did a lot of these odd and end projects, which were great. And I learned a lot. And
that's right. You did the shipping containers right across from the Level.
Yes.
Did you know?
Yes. Yeah. And it's called OKC, which is OKSEA. It's hard because we're in Oklahoma City. But yeah, that was a fun project.
Why?
Um,
Why that?
So the
And
the
who
point,
offices in something like
the
that?
point, it's funny. Richard and I officed in there
That's your
for
office.
7 years. We don't anymore.
Okay.
But when I first moved here, we officed out of the shipping containers. And
Is that loud?
it is loud, and we have learned a lot about having to leave to get on the phone and heating and cooling, and we learned a lot about building that project. And I think I had 3 or 4 years of just like figuring out kind of how to manage meetings. And you come out of college, and a lot of people talk about this, you don't even know how to send an email. I mean, that's the thing, is like you've got to learn how to kind of be a part of meetings. And
right. Well, on the shipping container, did you ever think, why are we building this?
Well, it's cool.
It is
a cool project.
No, 100%.
And the point of it was it was a playground for the residents at Level. And so we built it, and we built a dog park right next to it, because Level and Mosaic didn't have a dog park at the time. And we put in some retail spaces, and we activated the area. And yeah, it was
There's
an
still
amenity.
a restaurant in there, isn't there?
Well, there's a bar called Block Bar.
Okay.
And there's two restaurants in there. There was a smoothie place called Weeze the Juice that lasted there for quite some time.
Okay.
And they ended up moving they needed more space, so they actually are in Level. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And I think we hit 2020 like everyone did, and we just kind of turned and looked at each other and said, we got to figure out what we want to do. And at the time, we were working with Mel Scott and Cooper Scott. They were managing these properties that I'm talking about, and others. And we all kind of sat together in a room and said, we should all become partners, and let's just focus on multifamily.
Yeah.
And so in 2020, we made the pivot of just like, let's focus. And we had actually gone to have lunch with Mike Henderson. Are you familiar with him?
100%. No,
He's
Mike,
great.
very, very well.
Yeah. And he sat down with us and was kind of the old man in the room, and was looking at Richard and Cooper and I, and said,
do you realize that Mike Henderson also has some mentorship a little bit to Gary Brooks?
Does he really?
Yeah, Mike Henderson did some things with Gary. I don't want to say necessary mentorship, but did some things with Gary Brooks.
Well, Mike, he obviously knows so much about the business.
Yeah,
and
does.
So anything he says, I listen to. And he sat us down at lunch and said, look, you guys need to focus. He's like, you need to stop doing, he's like, you need to look at each other, and you need to focus, and you need to focus on multifamily. And from that lunch that we had with him, that's how we actually today got our Edmond project going.
I do want to talk about that. I've heard about it. I don't know anything about it.
So he was a part of that group that we acquired. We acquired the land from in order to make that deal work. So yeah, he's very near and dear to my heart. Just being one of those. He's kind of a legacy in the community.
So what is Mike doing today? Do you know? I don't know.
He is retired.
Okay.
Yes, but it's funny. I recently was talking to Cooper about how we want to take him to lunch and give him a tour of Kelly Hollow, because we haven't done that with him yet. So
where's Kelly Hollow? Is that in Edmond?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is our newest project. Is Kelly Hollow Apartments. It's located in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's on 13 acres. It's on 2nd and Kelly.
Okay.
And it's our first suburban project. And Mark, it's been a lot of fun. I've been so focused on downtown, and just trying to make these projects work in downtown, that we were nervous about Edmond, and just, as you know, trying to get zoning done. And so in 2021, we tried to zone a piece of land that fell through. And so we realized that, we got to go find the right piece of land that's probably already zoned. And so that's how we met Mike Henderson. And he introduced us to the landowner and to this piece of land. And we closed on that land, I want to say in 2023, and started building in 2024.
And you're complete.
We are still under construction, but we are
Okay.
like 95% complete.
So how many
It's
units?
250 apartment
okay.
units. It's a garden style project.
So yeah, let's take that. So give me an idea of a little difference between an urban core
Mm-hmm.
quote downtown project versus a suburban.
Yes. So Level is a great example of a
Yeah.
downtown project. We
Yeah.
call that a wrap project.
Okay.
It's where the parking garage sits right in the center
Okay.
and you wrap the apartments all
Right. Okay.
around,
Yeah.
and it's very efficient. It's a great way to build a project
Mm-hmm.
because you can get these great courtyards right on either side.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other ways you can configure it,
Mm-hmm.
but from a construction standpoint, if we're looking at sites in downtown, that's the only way we're going to be able to make the numbers work right now. And maybe that changes in the future, but that has been what works for us. We did Mosaic Apartments, and that was on a podium, and it's a lot more money to build.
So describe a podium.
So podium is 2 parking garages with wood on top.
Okay.
And so it's not as efficient for many ways. One of them is from a construction standpoint. So at Level, when you're delivering all the appliances, you're driving the truck in and you're delivering it and you're rolling it down the hall and delivering it, which to most people, like, no one really thinks about that. But from a general contract standpoint, I mean, that's more expensive. Mosaic, you're using these sky lifts and you're putting them over the edge of the apartment and rolling it in. And so you're 20 or 30% of your appliances you're going to have to throw out.
Oh, wow.
And so there's these little nuances to it that the general contractor is like, well, we got to charge more for this and we got to charge more for that. And you're very familiar with that.
Oh, yeah.
But so those are our downtown products. In our suburban product, we call it they're 2 and 3 story walk-ups. And so essentially no elevator, which is nice, very simple. But what Richard has done a really good job of doing it on this piece of land, because it's so big, is put in a pond. And so we have as many units facing this common area pond. And we have pickleball courts, we have this pool that overlooks the pond, and we have this gym that overlooks. And just the way Richard has laid this project out.
It's back to him being intentional. So
very intentional. Yes.
Everything's placed that has some intentionality to it to ensure it's a best guest or resident experience.
Yeah. And that's really what we focus on multi is we want people to move in to one of our communities and to love living there. And renters, obviously, they're temporary. However, what we have found is that when people leave our community, we want them to look back and say, that was a good phase of my life, in whatever capacity that was, and I have found more and more that there is a large audience of successfully single people that don't want to move to an Ideal Homes neighborhood where Richard's family builds homes, and because it's lonely. And what we are currently trying to go after is build communities that people want to move into and stay and create a community among themselves. And it's hard to do that now with social media, people on their phones.
Yeah. So that's a great point. So what is your retention ratio? So typically in an apartment complex, you have in a particular month, because most apartment leases are 6 months to a year. In a particular month, you'll have so many leases come up. What's your typical retention?
So I know we have a better retention. Like if you're looking in the Dallas market, it's like 50% per year. I mean, it's high. And ours at Level, whenever it was at its peak, it was 20%.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but as we know, these buildings have different lives to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm excited to see about Kelly Hollow because we moved our first resident in December 5th. So we are,
do you really?
Yeah, we're 2 months into lease up. Construction costs are extremely high.
Yeah.
Finding land at a reasonable price. I mean, it's like
hard.
from 2013 until now, like getting a deal done is extremely hard, and getting it done the right way is you're always going to have moving pieces, and that's what we want to do this right. And I think that's why we have been so slow moving, is
Well,
that
and that's why you guys are successful. I don't want to say guys. That's why your company, you and Richard and the Scots are successful, is because you want to do it right. It's not about just putting something up and moving on to the next. You want to do it right. You want to continue. Do you continue to own most of your stuff, or do you typically end up selling it eventually?
So because I'm early in on this, this being candid, this Kelly Hollow project is the first project that I personally have put my own money into.
Wow. Awesome.
And
That's
have
awesome.
equity in it. And I have learned a lot just being on that side of it. And it's been really good for me. Because you have a whole different lens.
How old are you?
36.
You know, I got into my first deal at 36.
Okay. Well, maybe there's some luck there for me, because
there is.
I very much.
That's
I mean,
awesome. That's cool.
So we'll see. But obviously it's my baby, and I'm excited to see how it does. But I also am excited to see how we can take this and do another project. I'm also excited to see how maybe we can come back downtown and make a deal do a deal that's going to work for everyone, because I'm learning it takes lots to get stuff done in downtown, and that's something that
it's getting harder.
It is. Yeah. And like from someone like Richard and I, where we want to keep things simple, you can't keep things simple anymore when you're trying to do anything downtown. You got to use multiple different forms of financing.
So what do you think about high-rise living?
I would love to look into high-rise living. And I actually called Dick Tannenbaum about this the other day on a building that we were looking at, and he was very helpful in talking to me about it. I'm interested in it. I think it's a great reuse. I think that Dick and his team have done a phenomenal job on it. And so, is there room for someone else? I don't know. But in walking some of these buildings, I've walked 2 buildings in downtown. Man, they need a lot of work. And so you really need the city, and you need a lot of people to come in and help reduce those costs, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
And
so you're talking about a renovation of an existing structure.
Yes.
And you're right. You have to have, and Dick probably told you this, it only works with TIF dollars, and in most cases a historical tax credits.
That's exactly what he said to me.
Because the cost of these are extraordinarily high, because you ultimately will run into things that you can't even fathom with an existing structure.
Well, and that's the problem. It's like there's already risk to these things, and then you walk in it and you're like, well, okay, I think it's going to be this. Right. And then it's like, well, there's a $4 million thing that we found and
that you didn't budget for.
Exactly.
Okay,
and so
and that's why that's why the government has the historical tax credit program, is because it's preserving our history, and it's hard to actually make those things work. And we want to encourage developers, you and others, to restore these things, to honor our history. We want new, yes, but you can also, frankly, I think an older structure renovated new on the inside is the cat's meow.
It is.
As opposed to just a brand new glass structure with all the stuff. Oh, it has no character sometimes.
Exactly. It's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, we walked a building the other day. We were on the 19th floor, and I was like, wow, this could really be something. And you can just sit and dream. And but when it comes down to it, it's like, we need to make a project work. You know, I'm young. I've got a family I got to feed, and I'm hungry, but and that's why, I think maybe doing a mix between trying to work in the suburbs and see if we can get a deal done downtown. I think that is going to be a good next step for my partners and I. I haven't talked about Cooper Scott, my other partner, and Scott Group at all.
Because I don't know the Scott Group. Now, you said Mel Scott. Now, Mel Scott.
So Mel Scott.
He's my age or older, right?
So he actually passed away in 2021.
It's the same Mel Scott.
It is the same Mel Scott that you have met and been around. And so that's how we got connected through Cooper. Is through Mel. Cooper moved here about the same time I moved here, and he basically started running Scott Group. which they were managing a lot of their own assets at the time. And also they managed Level and Mosaic and all of our other projects that we were building. Cooper and I are kind of around the same age. And we spent many years in that shipping container that I was talking about.
Nice.
And
close quarters.
Yeah. And while I have been out on maternity leave and trying to figure out these kids and working at the same time, he has gone in and done a good job of growing Scott Group and really trying to create a local property management company that can compete with larger property management companies. And he's done a really good job of it.
Cool.
I'm really proud of him. And I have kind of stepped in to help him on that side. And I have been learning a lot on just managing people as you're looking at me. And because property management is the non-sexy part of real estate development.
Very few people will call you up and say thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much working with with Cooper, because he's been in that world because of his dad his whole life. And I'm coming from, being at TCU and being in business school and, not arrogant, but just, and then I'm like listening to these calls and listening to all of the things that come with property management. And it's a lot and it's very different. And you just kind of have to take a step back and put a different hat on and realize that, people, cool. It's a lot of people managing on all ends. And so I am learning right now how to help him run Scott Group Property Management.
Cool.
And so
that's cool. That's really cool. The residential management's hard, or multi-housing, right? So do you do any single family residential?
No. So Cooper is focused on multifamily. And I think that's why that's why his organization is doing so well, because we all were like, we have to specialize. Right. We cannot do anything else. We can only do so much. Right. And also what's been interesting is I feel like from a local standpoint, and you might feel this way, and this is just in general, the people that I have been able to work with that are Oklahomans on the consulting side, on the capital side, on the general contractor side, we've been able to get things done that people that are coming in from out of town can't.
No, they can't. That's right.
And it's because people, there's more expense. Things are more expensive. There's too many layers. And I think that having this local property management company that comes as an advantage to these owners, because there's not all these layers of people that you have to go through to get anything done. And I'm learning on the real estate development side is that if I can get a team of people together that is Oklahoma people, we can get so much more done.
Yeah. No, 100%,
and I'm sure you feel the same way, but you have to, there are some out of town people that you have to hire.
Sometimes.
But I can't name any names, but it's just, there's certain people that are not eligible for rehire. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys typically finance your deals? Do you do bank financing? Are you doing some HUD financing?
So it would be my goal in my future to do HUD financing. Just a
D4 loan.
Yes. Yeah. Just given my situation and being young, that is what I have been seeking since I've been able to be at this capacity. Yep. And so we have been working with a guy named Luke Harry with Mason Joseph Company. He's been great to work with, and we haven't been able to get a deal done yet with him. However, we're hoping to take our Kelly Hollow project and refinance into 221F. Have you done?
I have not done it.
A HUD? Okay.
Our West Village project is a D4 project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is my just long-term goal is and to find patient capital that would want to do that with us. Yeah. And that it's the whole puzzle piece of trying to get all that together. Mark, you tell me, how do I do
Well, I mean, the beauty of HUD financing is obviously you can stretch it out to 40 years. And the financing typically is lower, but there are a lot of strict requirements. You don't have real control of your own cash because you can't make you can only make distributions twice a year. So one of those distributions, you have to have an audit at the end of the year, and then the audit tells you what your excess cash flow is, number one. Number two, there are some reserve requirements, but you know what? As much as I thought, I'm not sure I want to do this. The structure is meant to help you be successful in the long run. And so I've learned to like that.
Okay.
As long as you understand and know the structure going in and you build your model around it, it actually is a good long-term model, in my opinion. And, the HUD financing is meant to provide good, affordable, consistent housing for Americans, right? And so their structure is in place for a particular reason. And yeah.
Well, and that makes me think about affordable by design.
Right, there you go. Yeah, I like that.
The fact that, everyone talks about putting in affordable housing, which is great. And I am all for it.
Yeah. Good.
But can you design a project and design it affordably?
That's a good point.
As opposed to, jumping through all these hoops, and we talk a lot about that. I can't say we've been able to do that yet.
Yeah. You will.
But there's a discussion about affordable by design.
Yeah,
and
I love
a lot of people don't talk about that. And I actually think Dick has done a really good job on that on the Harlow.
Oh, awesome. Can you imagine? He got up to over 95% occupied in less than 6 months.
That is amazing.
It is amazing. Unbelievable.
Only
Dick can do that.
We have been tracking him. And I went and shopped it with Chloe, my marketing director. And I told him this. I was very impressed, first of all, with what he had done. But the fact that he was able to lease it up and there's no parking attached to it. And to me, that's what's more amazing is there's clearly a market in downtown.
There is, yeah.
For people that want to live down here. And parking is not an issue.
Well, but he had parking right next door. He didn't own the parking, but he had the ability to go get some. But I thought, he talked to me a little bit about or mentioned his theory. He said a lot of the folks that will be rent from me will already be working downtown. So they'll probably, not all of them, but a good portion of them, they'll already have parking spaces through their employer. So, and I think that's held true for him. So,
yeah, I've been seeing that lease up is very
remarkable.
I think it's great for downtown Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he did that because I think people are getting nervous and kind of gun shy. Just in downtown in general right now it's just the economy is hard to make anything work. And seeing him to be able to do that is like, okay, like we can do this. Let's get this arena built.
Let's go make it happen.
And let's all go to do some multifamily together.
So let's talk about what residents are looking for today. Not necessarily like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, whatever. What are the things that they want to make sure that they have in their unit as well as the amenities within the complex?
So what I have seen is that renters have gotten a lot more savvy, and wellness is starting to become a big part of a lot of people's lives. And so, and that can mean a lot of things, but I think wellness and concierge services are probably the two most important things that we see out of residents. They want to have a leasing staff that's going to actually be there and take care of them. And if they're out of town and there's a problem, they want to be able to lock and leave and then put a package in their unit, and they want to be their therapist sometimes. They want to come in because they're lonely and their dog died and they're upset and they want to sit down and have someone to talk to.
That's good.
And I really think that the property management group is super important to these communities. But I do think on the wellness side, I'm seeing obviously gyms are very important, but saunas, cold plunges, sobriety has become to the younger generation, sobriety has become a lot more popular.
It is.
And I'm very much picked up on that. And
people
so
drinking less.
Instead of in your clubhouse having, beer on tap or wine on tap, is there coffee or tea or, also programming is extremely important. And we've talked a lot about how can we program Kelly Hollow for the type of person that's going to live there? Is Mahjong going to be a good programming?
Do you know how to play Mahjong?
I don't because I don't have time.
I don't either.
I wish, but I don't have
so
time.
Complicated. You have these million tiles. And then I hear on the Mahjong that every year they bring out new tiles.
I have so many people that play it, including my mother-in-law, and she loves it. And I feel like I'm very much on the out. because I just don't have time. But maybe when my kids get a little bit older. Pickleball also.
Okay. You said you and
We're
Kelly,
putting in pickleball courts, and a lot of things we put in as an experiment, and we see, what's
Love
being
it.
used and what's not
Love
being
that.
used. Same with their unit types. We do a lot of experiments with our unit types where it's like, let's maneuver this a little bit and see, are people going to use this more? Are they going to use this less? And the cost too.
Sure.
And so we do a lot of experimenting on our end. So, anyways, but yeah, I really think the renter has gotten a lot more savvy, and it's people are successfully single for a reason. They don't want to own a home. They want to be in a great environment in downtown and with a lot of amenities, and that's what they're paying for.
Yeah. All of your units are for lease.
Yes.
Have you have any desire to do a for sale condo unit?
So it's funny you're bringing that up. Back in 2018,
before COVID.
We endeavored on building a project called the Bower, and that was supposed to be
the Bower. Where is it located?
Yeah, so it's on 4th and Lee in Midtown. We spent 2 years just going through the due diligence of it and kind of trying to figure out, like, is this something Oklahoma City wants? And we went for it. And we have learned so much from that project. But we could not make the condo portion of it right. And so we ended up turning it into apartments. And it actually came online March of 2020 from a condo standpoint sale. And Richard and I sat on those units for 18 months. And we learned a lot about downtown and the people downtown.
You sat on them for 18 before you turned them into? Whoa.
Yeah. Yes.
I bet that was some stressful time.
It was. Yeah. And when I was saying failing forward, I mean, that's been a good example. Yeah. We've been learning a lot as we go. But I will say I will probably at this point never want to do a condo project again. That's why I want to specialize in multifamily. But what's funny is when we turned the Bower into apartments, it leased up in 3 months. We put stock group on it, and people
weren't ready for it.
They just weren't ready. And what I found is that it was, the HOA cost and the reserves and all the stuff that you can buy. You buy the condo, but then there's all these monthly expenses that come on top of it. And in Oklahoma, in Colorado, that's just a regular thing that you do. And there's a lot of condos around. And in Oklahoma City, there just didn't seem to be an audience for that. Yeah. People are like, well, I'm just going to go and buy a house in the suburbs. And
but you guys still got to mow.
I know. Yeah. So maybe that was a fail on our end, and that's okay. We're not condo builders. Yeah, that's what I got out of that.
One of my character flaws is when I made my first commission, I got rid of all of my anything dealing with the yard work, every hedge clipper, mower, edger, weed eater. I got rid of it all and said, I'm going to put money aside because I'm not going to ever do yard work again.
I love it.
I've kept to that.
It's like your one thing. You're like, I've made a commission. I'm moving up.
I'm like George Jefferson, moving on up.
Moving up. I don't have to mow my lawn anymore.
Yeah. So
I love it. That's great.
So yeah. But this has been awesome. This has been really, really fun.
Well, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I don't listen to the news a lot, and so I've been excited to come here and experience this being on the other side of it. So
is this your first?
Yes, this is my first time doing this, and I really appreciate you having me on.
You're awesome,
and just giving me this platform. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I wish you great success in your career.
Well,
I want you to know you can. Not that I can help you at all, but you're always welcome to call me anytime.
I would love to work with you, and I'd love to work with Dick Tannenbaum. He's great.
Oh, he's awesome.
Every time I see him out, man, I love him. He's awesome.
He is the best. He's one of my best friends, and I will do anything for that man. Yeah, he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. Great guy. Have you seen his podcast with me?
No, I haven't.
You got to watch it.
I now can get on and listen. I've been too nervous.
No, you got to get on.
No, I can't wait. Yeah. I got drinks with you and Megan and him. I want to say like 2 years ago.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, yeah.
And I had so much fun with you guys. And I don't know if I was pregnant or not pregnant at the time. I feel like I was pregnant for been pregnant for 2.5 years. But I remember walking away and thinking like, man, he is. And he's very provocative.
Oh,
so,
no,
but
he's the man. I mean,
man.
I'm the calm one in the group.
Yeah, it's like, it's like you guys are a good yin and yang.
Oh no, he elevates my little character a little bit, and I kind of calm him down a little bit. So we help each other out.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
We're sitting at the First National and enjoying a drink together. And
yeah, it was fun.
So I really appreciate you giving me this platform.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.